What's going on, guys? So this is my review of the Pixel 8 Pro as well as the Pixel 8. I believe it's been over a month at this point of using these devices, and there's a lot I have to say about the new Pixel series. And I don't think I can make this in like a 15-minute tech review video that I typically do. I'm going to make an extended version. I might talk for up to an hour on my experience using the Pixel and maybe even future videos if you guys end up liking it. So please stay subscribed if you want to see stuff like that. But first, a word from our sponsor, Nobody. Now, I also want to say I don't have a script for this video. Typically, I have everything scripted out, but this for Google products, I just want to talk about things off the top of my head. So first and foremost, let's talk about build quality. So let me start off with the Pixel 8. So the Pixel 8 is supposed to be the cheaper option, and I have this in the black. So it does have this reflective coating on the background, in the back. Personally, I like the feel of it in my hand. It's definitely comfortable to hold, and it's a one-handed device for sure. And I want to say that the flat display works a little bit more advantageous on the smaller devices than it does the bigger devices. But overall, in terms of the build quality, it's very dense, has some weight to it, so it definitely feels premium. The other thing that I want to mention is that the camera is also a little bit smaller than what we have on the Pixel 8 Pro, which is what I'll transition to right now. So the Pixel 8 Pro, this is the porcelain color. And as you can see, the back coating is not reflective, so you really just get the color that you originally bought. If you end up throwing a case on either one of these devices, you're not going to get the full quality of what the back is supposed to feel like. But we still have the we still have the flat display on the Pixel 8 Pro instead of the curved display. If you guys don't mind, I'm gonna go get the Pixel 7 Pro real quick. Where is that phone actually? So unfortunately, I actually have no idea where my Pixel 7 Pro went, but all I really wanted to show you guys was compared to the Pixel 7 Pro where it has a bit of a curved display, this one is completely flat, and how I actually preferred the curved display on the bigger 7 Pro than the 8 Pro. But it's completely subjective on what a person likes. But yeah, that's the overall build quality. Everything else is pretty much identical. The cameras are obviously different. You have bigger and better cameras on the Pixel 8 Pro, better zoom capabilities and whatnot. You also have a temperature sensor, and I'm not going to spend too much time on the temperature sensor because I'm gonna be honest, I don't know the best way to describe it, but just because a feature is there doesn't mean I'm going to use it. Obviously, it's nice that a temperature sensor is here, and I don't know if Google had the original plan to use this during the pandemic in terms of monitoring people with your phone. Thermometer, there it is. So it says allow access for sensor, and then object, and okay. So I'm just gonna tap to measure. I think you can select something, right? Let's do fabric, and then just hover this here. Yeah, I mean, once again, I've never used it up until now, and there might be some people who will use it in their day-to-day. For me, I don't even think about using a thermometer on my phone. So that is where I'm going to place the overall build quality and the temperature sensor when it comes to both the Pixel 8 and Pixel 8 Pro. The next thing that I want to talk about is cell service, which I think a lot of people gloss over. It's okay. I would say it's pretty much on par with the Pixel 7 series. Overall, I don't think it's as strong as the iPhone or the Samsung series. There are times where I usually have a connection and ends up dropping off. Times where I think the phone should be smart enough to switch to LTE versus 5G. It just wants to hang on to 5G on one bar when a full bar of LTE will prolong the battery life much better. But overall, I don't necessarily think that there was an improvement when it comes over to the actual cell service. Phone calls as well. People can also tell when I'm on a Pixel for some reason. Sounds worse to them. It doesn't sound terrible. It just doesn't sound as clear when I'm on a iPhone or a Samsung device. So that's something else that you might want to consider. I'm still audible. They can understand me. They just say, hey, are you on a different phone? I'm like, yeah, I'm on the Pixel. And they're like, okay, well, makes sense. So once again, not terrible, but something that you should also consider. Maybe what I will do is do a voiceover of me using a microphone, although I think the voice memos isn't as same as a regular call quality, but I'll see what I can do for you guys.
All right, so this is a combination of the call quality and microphone on the Pixel 8 Pro. You guys let me know how it sounds. This is the first time I'm ever doing a test like this, so let me know if you guys find this informative, and let me go ahead and switch phones so you can see what the quality is like on the S23 Ultra. So now moving over to the S23 Ultra, you guys let me know if the call quality and microphone has improved. From my own testing and from what other people have told me when I called them, the Pixel 8 has a distinct sound to it, whereas other phones just have a lot more clarity. So I guess this is the ultimate test to see whether that's true or not. So you guys can be the judge of that.
All right, next up is display, because I think this is another thing that I didn't appreciate until I went to a different phone. And now that I'm back on the Pixel, I actually want to give a lot of praise over to their displays. So I believe they call this the Actua display. Oh, was that a GTA 6 thing? Okay, yes it is. Anyway, so the display, I believe it's Actua or Actua. I'll probably have the spelling somewhere on the screen. I apologize if I'm pronouncing it wrong. So I didn't really appreciate these screens until I came back to them. And I really don't know what it is, but I just keep gravitating towards the non-Pro models of Pixel. And I actually do prefer the display on the regular Pixel 8. There's nothing wrong with the Pixel 8 Pro. It's brighter, higher resolution, but that's not really why I like it. It's just the feeling of my thumb gliding over the display. It just feels a lot more fluid versus the Pixel 8 Pro. I don't know, it's almost a little bit too flat for me, and it's not as glossy whenever I start interacting with it. So objectively, spec-wise, it goes over to the Pixel 8 Pro, but my choice of what I would choose, I would actually go over with the regular Pixel 8. Excuse me. So speakers are loud on both devices. Since this is a bigger phone, has bigger speakers, so it sounds better whenever you're watching content. And there's okay, one thing I do want to mention with the Pixel 8 Pro, sorry, I'm deviating. This is what happens when I don't have a script, but it's just a very balanced phone, which I think a lot of people don't really consider. But when a phone is really balanced, where it's not top heavy or bottom heavy, it doesn't strain your hand as much. And I think that's where a lot of praise needs to go over to the Pixel 8 Pro, as well as the regular Pixel 8. It just feels very balanced, but not sure if that went into the engineering. I'm sure it did, but it's just a very well balanced phone. All right, so the next thing that I want to talk about is the biometrics. So typically Android devices have face unlock, and you'll notice that with the face unlock on the Pixel, it's actually unlocked, you just can't tell. So I just swipe up there. The face unlock is actually a game changer, and I would say this is actually one of the biggest strengths of the Pixel 8 series compared to a device like the S23 or even all Samsung devices, maybe even all Android devices, at least here in the US. It actually is much closer to face unlock or face ID. Now, for technicality, because I know some people in the comments are going to say, well, it's actually not as secure. It's not IR reading, can't read at night. I understand that. But from a person who goes from an iPhone over to a Pixel, the friction is much less because the face unlock on here, because you can use it for unlocking things inside applications and whatnot, it gives you that iPhone feel. I can't believe I'm saying that for a Pixel, but I do want to give credit over to the biometrics. It's a very small thing, or it might seem like a very small thing for Pixel people, but this is a massive thing that I notice in the day-to-day, especially when I switched over to other Android devices. So kudos to Google for doing the face unlock. Next up is, what else is next? Because I don't want to completely do like my hour-long review of this phone here. Obviously the cameras. So the cameras on the Pixel 8, the best way I can describe it is top tier. One of the best camera smartphones I've used on a phone, and that is no exaggeration. I was a firm believer that the S23 Ultra took one of the best photos, and then the 15 Pro Max came out, and I would still give it over to the Ultra. But the Pixel kind of just came out of nowhere, and I don't know what it is, but when it comes to Google versus Samsung and Apple, Google just tends to be more realistic. Like, it doesn't do as much post-processing to make the subject or whatever environment is look good. So it's almost as if you yourself have to be a good photographer. You don't have to be fantastic, right? But it really does give you the ability to capture the most natural photos out in the wild. And that is what I really appreciate about the Pixel 8 series. Now, when you go over to the Pixel 8 Pro, you do get more pro level features and whatnot. So if I go here, oops, it's been a while. So if I were to go here, you'll see that I have this pro option. But if I were to go over to the regular Pixel 8 and click this, there is no pro option here. Now, maybe, I mean, this is Android, so there's a lot of tinkering you can do. So maybe you can enable these settings on the non-pro devices. But when it comes to the photo and video department on both these devices, I was honestly blown away. I wasn't expecting them to be this good. Obviously, Pixels have amazing camera qualities. I think an MKBHD's blind photo test, the Pixel goes pretty far most of the time. And after using the Pixel 8, this is by far one of the best photos on a smartphone that you can take at a price point that is honestly a little bit unreal, because I still stand by 90% of the things that I said in my Pixel 7 series reviews. And I really do think that the non-pro Pixel devices is where Google shines, because in this price category, it is really hard to beat Google. I have to burp, so give me 1 second. Such a small burp. I'm trying to think off the top of my head. They have the best take thing. So if there's like a group photo and everyone's kind of like looking funny, you'll be able to, stitch the right face that you want to represent the photo that you're trying to, I guess, express. The other thing is there's actually a lot of AI stuff when it comes to these phones. There's also this upcoming feature where you can record a video and then they do something called video boost, where it's going to, I guess, optimize HDR your video out in their data centers and then bring it back to your device. 99% sure you're gonna have to use Google Photos for that, but thinking about it, I just sound really stupid because all Pixel phones use Google Photos. But anyway, the other thing when it comes to the cameras are, just better AI stuff when it comes to the Pixel devices when you want to enhance a photo, change the way it looks on the environment. They have the portrait detection, just a lot of stuff in the Google Photo apps that I don't want to say is specific to Pixel devices. They are available on other devices, but Google is saying that if you want the best experience, you got to give it to the Pixel when you want to use it on that device. That sound really weird, but you guys get what I'm coming from. If you want the best features, use it on the Pixel series. Okay, so performance. I don't game on my phone. I probably should incorporate gaming on my phone, since I believe a large portion of my audience games on their phones. But in terms of like general use cases, they are pretty much spot on in both instances. However, there's one thing I want to mention, and I probably should have said this in the beginning of my reviews. So when a device is first released, especially when it's paired with a major OS update like the iPhones, I always give a month out to let things kind of settle a little bit, because there's going to be bugs and glitches. Because as a software developer myself, I know those things are bound to happen, especially when there's millions of devices that are going to be out there. There are just some things that your own test cases can't account for. So I always give them the benefit of the doubt the first month of release. That's why you haven't seen my review, in a week or two. So I did run into one hiccup when this device first came out. I was using the Lift app, and then my device just completely froze. I forgot if I was using the Pixel 8 or the Pixel 8 Pro at the time. The phone is just unresponsive. I don't have the lock screen anymore. Up there it goes. Okay, we are in progress. So that was like another thing where I was just very frustrated, but also gave them the benefit of the doubt because Android 14 just released, the Pixel 8 just released, let things settle. And to be honest, I haven't ran into another issue like that. So just also wanted to put that out there in terms of my own experience. But I don't want this video to go on too long, because once again, I could talk very long about my experience. And it's not the typical review where I'm just talking about the same old, right? So if you guys like this style, this talking style of review, please let me know down in the comments below. I will post my extended version. But all in all, the best way to wrap up this review is I I actually want to apologize to Google for the Pixel 7 series I did. Once again, I don't take back anything that I said in that video, which I guess is a bit contradicting what I'm saying, but I still firmly believe like 95% of the things that I said in that video. However, I am coming around a little bit when it comes to the Pixel 8 series with the G3 processor and just looking forward of what Google wants for their Pixel devices. And I've got to say that I think Google is onto something. And the fact that, you know, this is the 8th iteration of Google when it comes to making their own devices, but this is the 3rd iteration of them making their own chips. I'm glad that they've stuck with it and they're not copying out a little bit like Samsung, where, Samsung, they're doing like a split between using Snapdragon and Exynos, or however you pronounce it, Exynos. But Google's pretty much doubling down and saying, no, everybody has to use the Tensor chip, and we are going to support this for many years to come, right? Supposedly, what, 7, 8 years? Little skeptical on that. I don't know if they're going to do, I'll leave that for my extended review. But supposedly there is 7-year OS software support for the Pixel 8 series. That's great to see. Sucks for people who have the 7, but I have my opinions on that device. But overall, very pleasantly surprised about the Pixel. This phone does go on discount a lot. So if you are interested in picking up one of these devices, highly recommend using my link down in the description below. It does help out the channel. But once again, this is probably one of the best Pixels, maybe one of the best Android devices I've used. I can't say it's the best because I still think the Pixel, I'm not even going to cut this out. I still think one of the best Android devices is the S23 Ultra because once again, this came out in February. But I don't want to give it any slack from the Pixel 8 series because I think Google did a bang-up job with these devices. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know if you enjoyed it down in the comments below. I'll try to have some B-roll over some things that I'm talking about to give a little bit more context, but I just almost forgot to talk about battery life. So battery life, super quick. When it comes to battery life, I do have day in the life on this channel if you want to see what it's like day to day. I'm not a power user, even though I am a tech tuber. I'm an ordinary guy, I'm an average guy. I'm not on my phone that much, to be honest, because I have a computer, so my screen on time is mainly on my computer. If I need to do stuff here and there, then I'll use my device. But battery life, very surprised. I probably should talk about this in my extended review, but I'm going to drop it here. I think people get screen on time and the actual duration of using your device a little bit confused, right? Because this phone lasted me all day, but the screen on time wasn't fantastic, and then everyone's saying, oh, this phone sucks. I think it's a little bit of optimization. Like if I was on my phone more, the screen on time and the battery probably would have lasted longer. But you have to realize that cellular service, yeah, I'm gonna keep that for the extended review. Anyway, guys, I appreciate every single sub, like, and comment. Hopefully you guys enjoy this video, and until next time, guys, much love. Yeah, I'm saving that for the extended review. That review is going to be like an hour long, no joke. This is by far one of the best camera, sorry, a pop-up came up. Nope, here's the big one.